meaning of living things? Non-living things, they can't see, they can't hear, they can't even see anything, so you are not watching. But ladies and gentlemen, keep it locked down. My name is Dr. Smile. Make people laugh for a living.
Hilarious.
Living things watch, they see, they hear, they move, right?
Well, that's
like
right.
Mr. Niger D. A beautiful morning to you. You're welcome to yet another exciting episode of the Me.
I'm doing great. Thank you very much.
Morning.
How are you?
I'm very.
It's about the personality of the week. Of course, Mondays for topical issues.
Sure.
And Friday we'll talk us about what entertainment and all that. So today we're going to talk about something. It's about someone quite special. And when I say special, I can't wait to unveil this particular guest.
She's a personality of the week, and I usually love Wednesdays because we have, when you see their profile, time we meet with a personality of the week, we get to x-ray their lives and, unravel what they've, what they're doing, how they grew up, and, so much to unpack. So much to unpack, all right? So before I get...
Kindness can simply be defined as the quality of being friendly, generous, or considerate. It can also be described as an act of giving, consideration, or concern for others without expecting anything in return. It can be expressed in thoughts, words, gesture, or action. One it is shown to, irrespective of age or race. It transcends religion. Language is an equally enchanting smile in return that in turn invokes more smiles from people around. That's the rippling effect of one tiny act of kindness, a smile. Even animals react positively to kindness. A dog, for instance. The holy books and even the traditional and indigenous religions describe God as exceedingly kind and whose grace extends beyond all forms of transgression when he grants respite to his creation. This virtue has been passed on as an expression of God's love, and one, if imbibes, brings about nearness to God. One of the beautiful things about kindness is that it doesn't only serve a recipient, it also leaves a feeling of joy and a sense of accomplishment and fulfillment in the giver as well. There is a thrill in knowing that you have put someone in your prayer, put a smile on someone's face, or made life more meaningful to someone by an act of kindness. Except when it isn't done genuinely, only then will the feeling not truly be heartfelt by the giver. For instance, in today's world of social media, some people engage in acts of kindness only to be seen of men. In such an instance, the effect on the giver may be short-lived. Kindness has also been proven to be one way of releasing hormones such as oxytocin, dopamine, and so on, that give the feeling of happiness, reduce blood pressure, lower stress level, and boost the immune system. Kindness does not have to come in big forms. It can be expressed in gestures as simple as just a smile, a kind word, a helping hand, a pat on the back, shoulder to cry or lean on, or even a listening ear. Others can include charity in form of food and other needs, volunteering or advocating for a good cause, and other kind gesture. It is, however, noteworthy to mention that you cannot give what you don't have. So, showing kindness doesn't just mean giving to others and forgetting oneself. As a matter of fact, showing kindness should start from self, and this includes being at peace with oneself, learning to accept you for who you really are, paying attention to that positive voice inside and letting the effect reverberate in your being. In our quest to reach our full potential, we often forget to look out for ourselves. We must learn to take a break, step back a bit, and create the me time when necessary to refresh and replenish. Go out and enjoy nature if need be. Remember, You can't pour from an empty cup. Foundation of kindness to others. Once this is achieved, it becomes easy to give, express, extend, and show kindness.
Hello, dear viewers. My name is Jibola Dabo. Keep watching Mid-Morning Show.
Hey, welcome back. It's still the Mid-Morning Show right here on BCOS television, and you just saw that feature on kindness in a world where we're being told that we're becoming less and less our brother's keeper. I think that's just a timely one.
I think, yeah, it's really timely because someone actually said that an average Nigerian man is unkind. Wow. And I actually see the truth in that, you know, because sometimes you hear stories and you keep wondering, Hakilode, what is good?
People having to survive with the hardship in the country and everything, they just feel, okay, that's sort of Yoruba that says, so people feel
in house with us already, and she's an entrepreneur, an administrator, a geologist, and as well a public management professional and visionary leader with about 2 decades of extensive experience in strategic leadership, entrepreneurship, business management, organizational culture, sales, marketing, and customer.
A whole lot, you know, put together. I mean, where did this drive come from?
For making me to be where I am today, and also I must education.
Okay, and before we step into the show fully, I saw that you chuckled when I mentioned that an average Nigerian man is unkind. So, what do you have to say to that?
Well, I think when you say an average Nigerian man, well, as much as sometimes some people refer to me as being feminist, but I think that we must be very, very fair in our judgments. And I would say that it's on all sides.
No, I use the word man, you know, to represent both genders.
Oh, okay. Well, sometimes some people act from the side of what they are going through and how they've actually been brought up and nurtured. For people that were not nurtured with care and kindness, I don't think they can actually give and actually change. But I wouldn't say an average Nigerian man. I would say that we have very good people in our midst too.
So always is a function of the environment.
It's a function of the environment.
Where did all this drive come from? And in answering that question, you give, I mean, to be educated, or is it something you picked up along the way?
Well, that's part of it, I must say. And most especially my dad, he was so passionate and he was a very good driver, ensuring that you become the person you ought to become and being able to survive in this space. I mean, in Nigeria, is just the right fact.
Where did you grow up? How was, you know, your growing up experience? What was it like?
Okay. I actually grew up in Shagam,
Okay.
a town in
Ogun
Ogun State. And I was born about 45 years ago by my dad. He's a Odumesi.
In order.
Yeah, but of course, and one thing that I always argue or tell people is that when people say that the economic situation in Nigeria is so bad, I tell them that when you go back and talk to maybe your parents, being so rosy even back then, and that's why I would say that listening to some songs has actually emphasized that. I think there was a song by Christy Esseni Gokwe when she was saying Nigeria go better, Africa go survival, Nigeria. So for me, it shows that Nigeria has always been a going concern. And so I would say for my parents were quality education. So it wasn't as if they were so buoyant, but they gave us all the care that we could and trying to ensure that they instilled discipline in us, and those were things that I picked while growing up. So my early days, I started my education career. That was a private school. 6 was when I started. And for someone to go to a private school because he believed so much in education, it wasn't as if it was affordable, but he ensured that
you got the best.
We got the best, and they had to ensure that it just gave us the best of education. Those days, my parents are business people, and it wasn't as if they had
A lot of money.
a lot of money. Then even in terms of education, of course, maybe after primary school, Ozul actually have it. So we weren't just left just in the environment, growing on your own. There were a lot of monitoring, ensuring that we're at the right place at the right time, ensuring that we have the best of character, because I'll say that my dad is a disciplinarian.
What's your birth order? Are you the first child?
No, I'm the second child of my parents. 5 children from my mom. I'm the only girl.
Wow.
Second born.
Okay.
4 brothers.
Okay, that's not at all. Did you still experience that?
I'm sure there will be preferential treatment.
The boys
Preferential
they probably doted on you.
Not really. I think I had my voice since when I was young.
Wow.
So even for my younger brothers, we wrestled things together. It wasn't as if,
Didn't that make you a tomboy? I mean, the examples you had are all males all around you.
Maybe, but not really. I think I had my dresses, so it wasn't like, no, I think most of the time, dress, skirts.
So it was not about just dressing. Okay. For example, let's say you travel to your hometown and you see grandpa, grandma, and then they were climbing trees. Didn't you do the same?
Oh, I do.
Okay.
I do. So when you say in that regard, I know that. I know. I think maybe also I was bold, and I had that audacity, and always wanting to do things that other people do, especially maybe the male folks, because I always believe that whatever a man can do, it has been my philosophy from when I was young. I always say that boys don't have 2 heads. So I knew, and for those of them that, for those people that are familiar with Mayflower School, they will know that founded by the late Taisho Larin.
Yes.
It was the school that we had so many trees. So that's not how you will not learn
Was
how
it
to
boarding school, right?
A boarding school, but of
okay.
course, also had the days.
Okay.
So we were day students.
Oh, okay.
We go every day. And from early days of primary school, we'll climb trees.
Wow.
You want to pluck fruit, you want to pluck this. And so I think if you say the tomboy aspect, maybe.
In general, how would you describe your childhood? How would you describe it?
Well, I think, fair enough, I think it was a good one for me. I think we're not so deprived. I think for the basic amenities, we had privilege to the basic amenities, because one thing that my dad would always want to do is that, so that you don't always want to go outside to other people's home. We're always around them. So when people say that maybe children these days get inside, I think most of the time too, my dad, so if I'm not at home, I'm either with him, because I remember I'm always there. So I sit in front with him, and people always refer to me as dad's girlfriend, because he felt that I needed to be protected being the girl. So leaving me at home, he just wanted to be sure that.
Did you resent that?
Did
I mean,
I?
as you grew older, I mean, I understand when you were still maybe a child, that could still look great. By the time you became a teenager, and then friends are coming around.
Being daddy's girl.
Yes.
Then,
Did you resent
there are
that?
some things that I'll tell you that Salo Bieda. You know, when your children do some things these days, I just look at them that, oh, you guys are having it very, very easy.
Easy peasy.
Nowadays, you know, when I say disciplinarian, you know, parents those days, they don't spare the rod. if you do anything silly,
You get it.
Yes, fine.
you will be flogged. My brother, my elder cousins that we used to live together, boys will always be boys. They will do secondary school, and I see them. My dad will flog, and those days when he says that the kid is going to flog you 10 strokes, it means 10 stroke. He doesn't miss it. If he says this, so I think those days it makes me to be very, very
Cautious.
humble, and very obedient.
Okay. So, looking back to secondary school, how would you describe your academic prowess? Were you the very brilliant one, or were you the, average student in class?
Okay, I was the very brilliant one.
Okay.
In primary school, because in primary school I had a very good background. Like I said, I'll give it to the late Tai Sholari and Sheila Sholari. They did a whole lot when it comes to in terms of education.
Okay.
Mayflower, the primary school, which is Mayflower Junior School, and the senior school, they were top-notch schools back then. And so in primary, we had a very good foundation in terms of education, and I was very good because my dad paid so much attention. Your report card, you dare not come with. And one thing that Mayflower was very populated in terms of student size, and I would say that for each class, when we made maybe primary 1, 2, you could have over 200 students in hall.
Wow.
So each class, you have about 40 students, and you would have A, B, C, D, E, F, G. We had a lot of hands. So it was a very big school. We had a lot of people from different parts of Nigeria in the hostel as early as the primary school days. But we were not in the hostel. So we had, when it comes to, we had quality teachers those days. Most of the teachers then were Ghanaians, they were Indians. And of course, late Sheila Sholari, being a Briton, was also added to it. So they ensured that they had quality teachers. And so a whole lot of us had sound education. And of course, I was top-notch. Early mornings, drilling, maths drilling, So these days, I look at it, if you have a very sound mathematics, I think you would be very, very sound and mentally alert. I think that enabled me, and we had a lot of other subjects. But of course, I used to read a whole lot in primary school.
So what was your favorite then? Your favorite subject?
What's mathematics?
Wow.
Mathematics. Primary, secondary school was mathematics. So I always look at people when they say mathematics.
I don't like it.
I don't get it. I always tell people that that's the simplest subject. So.
Okay, I guess that's something to do with having a very good teacher.
Yeah, very good teacher.
Okay, so how was it getting into the tertiary institution? Because now we know we write JAM. Did you write JAM as well?
Of course.
Okay, so if you wrote JAM, so how was the experience like?
So for me, from my primary school, secondary school, I proceeded to federal government.
Was boarding?
Boarding, yeah.
Okay.
And I think that's my formative year. So one thing that did for me was that it built me in terms of being resilient, in terms of being independent, because we were in a boarding school, and in those days we had all the woo and woos in Nigeria. It was not the days of so much of private secondary school. So the best schools were the unity schools and federal government colleges. That's where you have, it was during the military regime. That's where you have most of the military, children go to. So the top DGs, they have where you get the best, the top people in the country. That's where their children attend. And he ensured that he did all his possible best to ensure that I get admitted into Federal Government Girls College. And I think that was one of the good things that I could say happened to me.
So how was boarding school? Yeah, because we heard so many stories about the boarding school, the bullies,
The bullies, I didn't see it. That's why I said being resilient. When things happened, I accept it, and it helps me to build my muscles. I build thick skin, and I keep going.
So you stand up to the bullies?
Not at those early stages. You dare not. You know, those seniors, short. Then typically, I was very short.
Okay.
I think I still met a friend of mine recently. We had a program, and she was there. And you know, she was telling my children that while we were in GS1, we were one of the shortest.
Wow.
So if you're among the shortest, and you have those seniors that are looking big, they are intimidating. So you dare not raise your voice against them. But along the line, you begin to, not because you are timid, not because you are not, but because you feel that, oh, they are seniors.
Respect
Whatever,
them.
yes, you respect them is part of the things. But again, I would say that it gave me so much of confidence. It gave me so much of confidence. So you see some people, the way they speak, I was never intimidated. I just looked at, yes, I was from the middle class. We had people from the upper and upper class. Because I would say that the late the Brigadier General Oladipo Podia was one time they never used to use vice presidents. Maybe the deputy head of state was during the Abacha's regime. It was the next to him, and you know, the daughter was my classmate.
Wow.
So we had a whole lot of them. But my dad used to tell me that they don't have two heads. Whatever they do, in terms of good character, in terms of education, you have to ensure that you're there. You have to be able to speak up. You have to be able to do. So there was some intimidation. Some people feel that when you go to boarding school, you could easily get intimidated. But for me, because I had good parents that kept pushing me, I wasn't intimidated. And I didn't see anybody, I didn't have the inferiority complex.
Okay.
So I could stand on my own, and so that helped me. And we had wonderful teachers, and but of course, you know.
So which do you prefer, your primary or your secondary? Which one do you love best? We reminisce on those good old days.
Well, they all brought different side of me. I think primary school was more of just I think in primary school it was more focus on education, on books. So to say, classes and all that. So it was more like a one way. But you know, in secondary school, there were a lot of other extracurriculum activities that I actually participated. So maybe I could say it also distracted me a bit, which affected me in a way that I could have been the top of the class, but I actually dropped because I had so much confidence in myself. At a point in time, I just felt I was so brilliant. You people don't know my background, where I was coming from, and you know, reading, you will relax sometimes. You have education, and you have examinations, and people are like, Bola Joko, are you not reading? I've glanced through mine. So, but at the end of the day, you will see that when the results come out, you are not top there. So you could have had a 90, 80 something, you eventually fall 70, and you know, all those things were actually part of the things that would affect you, because you needed that. Secondary school was more of your foundation into the university. So,
now, I asked the question earlier.
Yes, JAM.
So
We did JAM. I did JAM while I was in SS3. And of course, you know, while we were in school, one of the things that we learned was that because we were part of the most fortunate children in terms of education, in terms of exposure, so we knew about most of the federal university, especially in the Southwest. So most people, when you want to, I want to go to LAG, I want to go to UI, I want to go to IFE, those were most of the schools that. So we did JAM, and fortunately.
What was your first choice?
My first choice was UI.
Oh.
Okay.
I wanted to study architecture. While growing up, I liked drawing. So I loved fine art. I loved technical drawing. I did technical drawing
in secondary
SS1
school.
to SS3. I had to drop fine art at a point in time because
I usually cry in that class. That technical drawing class.
No, for some people, if you are very meticulous and detailed, you would
like
love technical drawing. So I wanted to be an architect, but while I was to fill my JAMB form, the schools that offered architecture, Unilag had at that time, we had Unifair, Futa, and my dad was like, which school? I was like, Lag. But my dad didn't like the Lagos life. He just believed that a lot of distractions, could be...
the hustling and bustling of that
Not even
city.
the hustling and bustling, in terms of discipline and... so he had a whole lot of... Lagos, no. So he said, no, Unilag. No, they will say, I'm a buruku. My dad, as a disciplinarian, a lot of things that you overlook, my dad don't overlook. Dressing was so high on it. So if you do some things, just ordinary face cap while we're as a boy or a guy putting on a face cap, my dad would read a meaning to it.
Wow.
You must be hiding something. You can't wear shades.
Wow.
He has a way. He will be staring at that person. I think he has something
Shady,
something that is hiding. So, and when you go to Lagos, you see a whole lot of fancy things. So he didn't like Lagos. So he said, oh no. So I said, okay, the other school that I could get was maybe Ife or Futa. But again, he felt, they are too far. Because he loves the closeness, keeping an eye, just to ensure that you turn out the way he wants you to be in terms of discipline and all that, and not get corrupted or something in terms of values system. So he had to talk to me, why not UI? Why not University of Ibadan? It's a very good school. I was like, Daddy, you don't offer architecture at University of Ibadan. He said, must it be architecture? Can't you look for something else? I'm like, what? And remember, back then, while I was in JSS 3, when I finished my junior secondary school certification examination, then he asked, when he came to pick me in school that we're going on, he asked a question that, so now that you're going into senior secondary, which class would you like to be? Maybe sciences, commercial or arts? And I was like, I don't like commercials. I don't think I like, because I didn't like bookkeeping while I was in. So I felt that intro tech, integrated science, I love those whatever, but I didn't like bookkeeping, I didn't like business education, shorthand. Those were subjects I didn't like at early days. So commercial class for me, I was like, it's a no for me. I was just thinking maybe arts or sciences. My dad was like, okay, arts. So if you go to arts, what do you want to become? I said, maybe a lawyer. I said, okay. What about the sciences? I said, maybe architect or an engineer, because mathematics was for me, so anything calculation that. So he said, okay. But that, I think he said it's better, maybe sciences. That law, he won't advise me to go for law. That in the kind of environment that they are in, it's not an environment that people normally take cases to court. That they normally do more of mediation. So when there are issues,
peace resolution,
they don't, because they know themselves. How can you now go take this person? No. Okay, mediation people come and they settle out of courts that lawyers that is not so lucrative, and that. So that was how I dropped that. So sciences I had already taken, architecture, engineering, there was no problem. But by the time I wanted to fill JAMB, he just said, oh no, that UI. So I had to look at what were the other things that were closer that I could. So I just had to take UI first choice, and I picked civil engineering. I picked, I can't remember, something so close to
civil engineering,
that
architecture
in UI. And my JAMB was quite good. I think back then that I did JAMB in 98, I had 240 something.
Wow.
And of course, we'll do JAMB before we do our WAEC.
Okay, back then?
Yes, back then.
Wow.
JAMB used to come ahead of WAEC. Maybe around March, so we'll do WAEC around So we're still in SS3 while we did. And the result came out, oh, fantastic. And those days were not the days of 300 and something. They were the days of the highest scores will be 280, 260, to whatever. So with that, I was assured that I was going to be able to enter for civil engineering in UI. But unfortunately, while my WAEC result was going to come out, I had a P7 in physics.
Oh. Wow.
And that was the worst of my result. Every other papers I had A's and C's, but physics I had P7.
Wow.
So that was it for me. I couldn't study civil engineering with it, and they started giving me a lot of other options. Oh, you could do this, you could do that, you could. But you know, a young girl just finished secondary school. What's that? If you do this 200 level, you would change to, you know, we didn't have so much experience as regards that. And of course, my parents looking at their own level of
I think
education.
that's where school counselors could have, you know, come in handy.
But we had left secondary school.
I think we're going to continue this particular part of the conversation right after this break. Please don't go anywhere. Yes, it's still the mid-morning show right here on BCOS television, and we are having a very interesting conversation with our guest. Now, you were talking about your experience, you know, getting into the university. Please continue with that.
So, well, I couldn't make physics, and I couldn't be offered admission for civil engineering. There were other options that I got. Maybe if I wanted to study Greek economics, if I wanted to study, since I had some other subjects that were required for those courses, but you know, there wasn't proper guidance. I felt that, how was your JAMB result? How is this way? What's up? I said, that I'm still struggling on that. I don't even know what course to study, but I have a lot of options, but they're not what. And she said, oh, she wanted to study medicine. And she chose lag. She had 230 something in lag. So for medicine, the cutoff was higher than as it's called. And you know, first choice, second choice was lag. And so she was like, can you imagine that she couldn't? And they were offering her botany, they were offering her some science courses, and she didn't want them. They told her that if she had picked some other institutions, that maybe state institutions, the cutoff was actually lower for medicine. That she's not. So I said, what's she going to do now? She said, there's pre-degree in Olabisi Onabanjo University. That you just do that rather than being at home and preparing for JAMB. So, and that was how I went into UI. So, but unfortunately, you know, kids, children, by the time you get into the institution, we had more freedom than where you were coming, right? And something came to our mind. We felt that pre-degree is not actually a degree program. You have not started your career. It's just a way of whiling away the time. So there were a lot of funds here and there. And,
what were those funds?
Those funds, you just said something nothing. The party is happening here. Let's go. You find yourself, you just going and you gist around. You get home, you begin to gist. There were no phones in our own days. So it wasn't as if the phone distraction, but it was more of you gist. You go to this friend's house, and someone is having a birthday party, someone is having this. There were shows in the university, and you just join, forgetting that you're not a real student. Because it was pre-degree, and there was nothing that. So it's either if you pass, you could get into 100 level, you could proceed. If you don't pass, you go back home. Or if you do jam and you pass jam, that could. So those were the. But we were not thinking of all those things. We're going to do jam. We're going to do jam was what it was in our mind, and I wasn't really preparing. And by the time I did jam, again, my second attempt, I had less than 200.
Wow.
And it was so sad. When the result, even myself, I knew. But you still feel that I've done jam before now. But we forgot that while we were in secondary school, it was real preparation. The school was preparing us. You had all your mates that everybody was going to sit for jam. We're over 200 in our set. Everybody was preparing. So the competitiveness was there. I didn't get my priorities right, I would say. And so when the jam results came out, I realized that I failed. My other friend, Shola, did better.
Wow.
And she had chosen Labisi Nobanjo.
Okay.
First choice, second choice, she said she's not choosing Lagege medicine. So she met the cutoff. My other friend wanted to go to Lag. I wanted UI. She got her admission in Unilag. I was the only one. How did that make you feel? It made me realize that I had whiled away my time, and I had no other option than to face the pre-degree.
How did your parents react?
Well, they didn't know that side of me, if I must say. So they felt, as a very good student that they believed so much in, it was just that it looked like you had to now blame it on luck or God did not. Whereas down inside you knew. You knew what happened, but you couldn't come out. So they felt you were reading, they felt that you were preparing, but they didn't know that. Jammed. So it was so unfortunate, but I knew what to enjoy. So then I had to rethink my steps. My friend knew I had to withdraw. Because even for the pre-degree, the first semester result wasn't that good as expected. That wasn't me. That was all my results. So and I had the opportunity of second semester because they were going to find the average. So then I now knew the way to the library. I knew that, Bola, something is happening. Oh, sorry, count me out. I'm not interested because they already had admission. So they could play their second semester. They don't need it. It's not a requirement. It's not whatever. For me, that I couldn't get. So I was not even ready to. Just a very good and a cool course that I was just interested in, and that was how my journey into geology actually started.
Geology. So I looked at every. I was thinking. I don't know if that was what happened to you. I was thinking I was going to hear something like business administration.
She already said she does not like booking.
I didn't like.
But then I go through the profile. There's a whole lot about business and all that. So how do you reconcile geology and business administration, CRM, and all that you do?
So for entrepreneurship, I would say that Mobile Lemi.
Okay.
My parents, the two of them,
A business.
They had series of business. So while in primary school, like I said, if I'm not doing anything at home, being the only girl, my siblings could be at home. My dad would not leave me.
Wow.
Because I had elder brother and he was quite older than me. I had elder cousins that were living together. Most of them were male. So we used to have a lot of male visitors, their friends. my dad wanted to shield me away from them. So he would always take me back in the office. But by the time I got to secondary school, it was actually pushing me forward. It was not that you sit at the back office any longer. You have to see what they're doing, how it's not easy, how I had to hustle to ensure that hands meet. So I was involved. And he saw that I had that potential in me, I had interest. So he kept pushing me forward, and those were part of the things that actually prepared me. And I could say that's where I got my drive, my early maybe business exposure was where. So I was so much involved. And when I got to the university, it became a part of me.
So you were selling stuff in school?
No, assisting my dad. My dad had was into plumbing materials, hardware, building and plumbing materials. So when you talk about all the water system, iron rods, pipe, all the things that they use for building was what it was into. Because at that time, my mom had a cosmetics store, which sometimes we'll have to go there. Maybe my dad, because he goes to also visit my mom, they also work together. The businesses were, though it was like family business, the two of them. So, so when we are leaving his own office, he's driving me down. I'll be there. So I knew a lot about cosmetics. I knew. So when you're talking about attachment those days, creams, soaps, I was involved and you know, looking at my dad do some things, I had already gotten those skills. So I was very good.